Hey, what's going on, everybody? Video 44 coming up to another video. All right, so I kind of wanted to just weigh in a little bit on this Kyrie Irving conversation in regards to whether or not he should be getting his extension. First of all, I think everybody should get the money they should be getting, represented in what they provide the league, based on their portion of the market share. I think that's the easiest way to assure that everybody gets their money. And then from there, just add incentives to everything else. But guys should get what they represent in the market share. If they're bringing the league X amount of dollars, they should get their percentage of that. Not just say, oh, we're giving them this because they're that good, and give them that because they're that good. But that's not how you divvy up your money, but whatever. But if we're going to talk about the sake of the cap, then we're talking about money as it pertains to how much of it we can use to build our team. That's all the money conversation is going to ever be about on this channel, because I want everybody to get their money. And I want you to get as much of it as you can get. And I want you to have a place where you can put it and either have it be safe there, or have a place where you can put it and invest it in different things outside of the businesses that you love, your stock market, all that. And I stand for that. So let me be very clear. I live to stand for that. So I want everybody to get their money, and I want everybody to be able to have their money and keep it. So let me put that out there first. Now, with Kyrie Irving's situation, I have to get back to topic at hand, because I'm listening to Stephen A. Smith talk about, from a 1-year basis, I'm willing to give Kyrie Irving money. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. And then I listened to what KP had to say, Kendrick Perkins. And Kendrick Perkins brought up a point of view that I hadn't thought of. And he was saying, basically, if you're going to sign up to play in the Kyrie Irving sweepstakes, if you're gonna sign with Kyrie Irving and have him sign with you, then you know what you're getting. Why are you gonna set yourself up to put him in a space to be unhappy? He's a guy who goes left when everybody else goes right. So you're gonna give him a reason to go left? The first thing you're gonna do when you sign up with Kyrie Irving is say, okay, hey Kyrie, who you are and all you are, you come at a conditional to me. Like, nah, if it has to be a condition, then don't look to Kyrie. That should be the logic. Now, I don't want to force Kyrie into a space where everybody's saying no, and suddenly shut out the league. That's not my intention. I'm going to suggest some things there to help with my opinion being clear in that regard too. But I'm just saying, like, from a Laker perspective, from a Nets perspective, if you're going to sign up to have Kyrie Irving on your team, you're signing up for what comes with him as well. No different than LeBron James. This is what I've been saying in regards to everybody that you pick up in any situation, any capacity. Big players, small players, stars, whatever. They contribute to your locker room. They contribute to your organization. They contribute to what happens on the floor. And all of it needs to be taken into account. And sometimes not all of it is. In Kyrie's position, I would say, and this is where I get to the suggestion part, I think he should be looking to be at peace with the value that his NBA status is at, based on his availability that is already logged. Do you understand what I'm saying? It would be wise for him to come in saying, I want to help you work with me as I am. Be fluid in the space of negotiations as it pertains to respecting the fact that you haven't been there, and they have to react to that. Because you would have to react to that if you were on their end. Now, don't give them too much rope, too much respect. They're trillionaires, billionaires. They don't need tax breaks from you or to give you to leave money on the table. I never suggest that. In the space of trying to prepare yourself for the physical rigors of 82 games plus playoffs, you're going to need teammates that can accompany you and could help you have the support you need so that you can have the injury rest while your team can maintain. These things athletes should be at peace with investing in as it pertains to the space of the cap. It's part of the deal. And you have to look at it that way. You see, you have to look at it that way. And if you're not looking at it that way, then you're about to put your body, your name, your likeness through a lot. Because what you're going to be is someone that is not going to live up to the standards that you're signing up to play for, which means scrutiny, which means future negotiations affected by that decision. You took $250 million today when you knew you couldn't give them $250 million worth of basketball. Tomorrow, they're only going to want to give you $1 million worth of basketball when you're going to be worth 50 because of it. That's what I'm trying to paint. That's what I see there. And so because of it, it's smart for the basketball player to not only see the negotiation process and the price tag on them as a means of helping to invest in the depth of their team, because that's what you're forced to look at it as a salary cap. You have to look at it that way. That's what it is. And you got to make sure you get your money, of course, to make sure you take care of what matters to you outside of the game. So you have to make a choice of what matters to you. I don't care. You can do like Carmelo Anthony. I don't give a damn if I win a championship or not. I don't care who these teammates are. I don't give a damn about none of this. I'm a superstar. I got about this X amount of years to make X amount of money, and I'm capitalizing. Everybody say what they got to say. Everybody do what they got to do. This is my plan, and I'm going to get as wealthy as I possibly can off the guaranteed money the NBA provides me, while meeting every single statistical category standard necessary to assure that that money is secure. That was his goal from the jump, and he played it out to the T, and he's as rich as he is because of it. That was the goal. Who cares what we think about it? But you got to know what you're in for if you're going to make that decision. I believe Carmelo Anthony kind of got it. I think he understood what he was in for. I want Kyrie and everybody else that comes after him to know what they're in for. This is how the game is being played above you, but I don't know that it's necessarily being explained to you this way, because everybody has their vested interest in you knowing but so much. Agent games, basically. Corporate games. They don't necessarily want you to understand all this, because if you do, they can't do what they need to do to keep everybody in order. But everybody doesn't need to be in order, because now we're in a space where certain people are extending their power in ways that kind of throw the whole balance off. And so it's time for guys who come after the people who did that to understand what the power it is that they're yielding. Because some of the guys who wielded the power found out what they had and what came of it afterward. LeBron James gave us all of this. He gave us all of this. He gave us the blueprint and the details and the play out of all of what it is that I'm talking about. Because he played the game in such a way that allowed him the flexibility outside of the cap itself. He maneuvered the cap in such a way, he used his star power he used in such a way to maneuver the caps of the teams he was on, to bring him the talent that he knew he could carry, because he could represent 250 in his style, in his play, because he was that great. So it's a good investment for anybody to bring him whatever he asked for, because he's going to get them to the finals, guaranteed. He's that dominant. And he used that power in such a way that kind of left teams decimated around him, and now it's put him in a position to be on a Lakers squad where it's kind of tough. People looking at the situation, and it's just all... I don't think, had he had the blueprint he provided and all the information we've learned from his career, if he would have been given that from day one, I think he maneuvers it a little bit different to assure he has more opportunities to have more depth on his teams, to not have lived through this Lakers season he just went through. All of that came because I don't think he was fully understanding all of what I just said to you guys, which is you got to invest in your depth. You got, taking certain amounts of money and doing certain things could affect you later on. Now this, and the third. I think it's most important that the players who are coming from this point on, who are going to be coming into the league, understand how value is, your price tag, how it fluctuates like a stock by the second, as it pertains to not only things that you're doing, but to things that are going on around you in the era you're playing in. How suddenly your shooter's more likely to get 10, 20 more $million than yesterday's shooters because now the whole league is shooting. Or now suddenly a big man can't even get on the floor, as to which a guy like Rudy Gobert make $200 million 5 years ago. Now he probably won't even be able to get on the floor in 2 years. You got to be able to find a way to keep up with all of that as it fluctuates as fast as it does. It's impossible for a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid to make the best possible decisions with all of this present. And a lot of times, as I said, they're not teaching these kids these things. They don't know. I want to play with my friend. What's it going to take? Okay, let's do it. They don't know that they're getting screwed over, that they may hurt themselves down the road, or that they're going to end up playing with garbage teammates and stuff like that. They don't have to think that way. They think as basketball players, they expect the GM to have all that settled. But the player themselves are too important of a piece to not recognize what it is that they represent in such. You are too important to the building blocks of the franchise for you to have choices within that and not be aware of what those choices are and what those choices can do to your career, to the team you play on, to the way they cover you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Signing yourself these big old contracts, you find yourself in situations like John Wall where you ain't played in 2 years, or Russell Westbrook where they don't want to pay you. Got the fans talking about we can't wait to get rid of him, and it ain't hardly have anything to do with how well or how he didn't play, just because we need his money to play, to pay other guys to get better. Like this type of stuff, players need to be aware that this exists. When you sign a $200 million contract, you could be in a situation like Harden, or a situation like Ben. Yeah, you're gonna be rich as hell, but your life is gonna suck. Or a situation like Kyrie, where you just want the freedom to live your life, and you don't understand how someone can value you at such and such amount and still not pay you what you're supposed to be getting while demanding that you be there every day and all this stuff. They don't explain to you why that is. It's because of how the corporate games are set up in the competition that takes place way above us. The obligations that they set for themselves in competition with one another. The higher you get, the more you find out is high school games all the way to the top. And it affects people on the bottom levels of these things. And they don't know what it is a lot of times because they're focused on the art form. They're focused on whatever it is, but they don't realize that the choices they make ultimately affect everything that they experience within the sport that they play. And so as I grow more knowledgeable, loosely knowledgeable obviously, but as I grow more aware of the environment, I try to give into this camera what I see. And to me, it's just very important that a guy like for Kyrie Irving, using as an example, know that his best bet is to come in ready to give something in regards to what it is that he's been taking in regards to his time from the NBA. In other words, be ready to give him a year as opposed to asking for multiple years. Be ready for that, because that has already been, you've already taken the pay for that by not showing up in the times that you didn't. Now, you were not aware of that, but that's exactly where that money is. It's in the past. That's how it's represented when they negotiate. It's like, bro, we already paid you that when you didn't show up. When you didn't show up for the other guys, that took away your leverage to even ask for us to give you a multi-year deal. Because we only give those to guys who show up every year, every day, right? And then you understand that that's fair. Because for the guys that show up every day, how can they possibly have the same leverage as you who don't? You see what I'm saying? Where does that end? Where does that begin? So when you come up with your set of things that maybe the next guy doesn't have, he's supposed to get the same as you? See, when you allow that to happen, you set the precedent for that, which is why you don't if you're an athlete. See what I'm saying? And a 20-year-old kid's supposed to get this, 25-year-old man's supposed to get this. Come on, man. I barely get this. I'm in my 30s. So it's like, I feel like this is important. We need to help athletes. There's fans. Why? Because it's in our interest that they be at their best so that our teams don't freaking suck, man. Literally. I swear to you. It stems from something as selfish as that when it comes to me. I'm sick of my team sucking, bro. And so what do I see? All of this. Oh, so if the players know better, then they can put themselves in a position to not take up so much of our caps. So they'll see the fruit in that, so they won't be playing with whack players, and they'll stay healthier, so they'll get more money long term because they can last in the league longer because they won't play so many minutes now, so that they can have less opportunities to get injured. It all connects, fam. All of it. All of it. So if you want to play the mellow route, I salute you. Be honest with the fans. Say, yo, I'm here to get the bag, baby. I may be good at what I do, but I got responsibilities to make money, and I'm gonna get the bag, baby. Fans will respect it. We may not like it too much, but we respect it. Play hard for us. Salute. See you when you get there. Or you can be like Dame and say, I'm gonna live by my principles. I don't care about no money. I just want to be the person that they say held them down, and I'm gonna be remembered for that. That's what matters to me. Cool. Then you know you're gonna have to leave that money on the table in regards to that. You have to play with some people you don't want to play with and all that. Know what you're signing up for, know who you are, and then you make the decision you can live with. Dame, Melo, two very different people. If they were forced to play each other's paths, would have been miserable. If you listen to one person, they would have told both of them to do the same thing. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to know who you are, and then know where what your price tag is because of it. And that's not even taking into account what you can do on the court. That's just all the stuff that comes with off the court and leverage and availability. It's a hard game, and not too many of the athletes I think have too many friends. I really don't. But at the same time, got people like me who exist, who ain't got no skin in the game, who ain't making no money off this, who ain't looking to make no money off this. I just want my team to be good, man. And I'm the type of person that looks under the surface to find out what's really going on and things that I'm interested in. I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, oh, man, our team sucks. Just get me that player, that player. No, I need to know why we ain't got that player. How come I can't get that player? Well, we can't get that player for what reason? Okay, now can we put ourselves in a position to get him? And that's when I come to these conclusions like, oh, okay, so I got to do that and trade this guy to get that. Oh, man. But the media ain't going to tell me I need to do that. They're just going to have me sitting up here supporting us further, finding ourselves in a more hole, trying to get more superstars and giving away more picks. We need picks to get flexibility so we can have better players that can get us superstars. We're trying to skip steps that'll put us in positions to not be any good at all. I'm not supposed to know this, but I do. I really do. So, unfortunately, I'm going to use my voice to try to offset that. Nobody's paying me not to. So, I want to see what I want to see. Respectfully, like I said, I'm selfish in regards to this. I want my team to be good, but even more so, I want the league to be good. The entire league. I want every single roster spot to be represented with one of the best basketball players in the world playing there. If you're not one of the best, you shouldn't be in the league. That's what I was told my whole life. My mama told me there are no scrubs in the league because everybody in the league is the best players in the world. That's where they should remain. The pinnacle of the sport should be the NBA. I believe that. And I don't know that is the case because sometimes these roster spots are represented by people that shouldn't be there. Now, who am I to say who should and shouldn't be there? I know I shouldn't be there. I can't play. That's the first thing. But nevertheless, we know the difference between a guy that's really, 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 really productive and can help, regardless of his stats or not, and guys that are just there because he knows that guy or he's related to that guy or he's been here for a million years. We just love him, so we're not going to get rid of him. I try to respect that. But then I think about the in traffic scenario. When you're being considerate to the person in front of you, are you sure you're being considerate to the person behind you? When we're making sure that we keep such and such guy on the team for 30 years because we love him, are we sure we're being considerate to homie in the G League who deserves his spot? Most of the time it's no, and that is why my channel exists. Because I'm sick of seeing that. And I want the athletes that I root for to have the best possible path to success. Because I know not everybody has that. Some of these dudes would have been Hall of Famers if they just had better paths. Some of them dudes in the Hall of Fame shouldn't be there, but they had great paths. LeBron James tried to control his path. I want to help others do the same with my voice without having to go through some of the pitfalls that he did or having to be as great as he was to do so. It shouldn't be about forcing your way to do anything. It's about making sure that each and every spot is as good as the places he's trying to get to. That's what it's about. You can't turn Sacramento into Miami, but what you can do is make it so that their organization works just as well. That's what BDL 44 is about. So, as I continue to grow, I hope to learn as much as I need to be an actual help. I need to learn the game more. I definitely need to learn the cap more. I'm a novice in both areas. I ain't nobody, just a guy with a passion and a lot of time on his hands and a lot of NBA hours in his past. So that's what you're looking at, man. Got a lot of learning to do. Excited about that. These playoffs have taught me a lot, and I'm continuing to learn. I'm going to study this draft as well, see what's going on, and I will give you all what I have. And I hope that if there are really anyone who's in the league or someone that's aspiring to be a leaguer or someone who's a coach or anybody that's associated, if you see anything in here that you think is relevant, forward it to the person you want to forward it to. That's what I'm about. I'm not really interested in getting my voice to the masses as much as I'm interested in the right people hearing my voice. If 300 people follow me, that's wonderful. I'm happy if all 300 of those people have some influence in the places I wish to reach. That's what I want, more than anything else. So, with that being said, I thank you all for watching, and prayers to everyone who's going through anything, anywhere, especially in Texas right now. BDF 44. Peace.